Well, hey everyone, Kyle once again. Just found earlier today that consider the fact that horror director George R. R. Murrow passed away like about a month ago, and last year we lost another great horror suspense director, Wes Craven. Now we lost another great horror director as well. And this guy is responsible for directing one of the most classic horror films ever made, let alone considered one of the most terrifying films ever made. Director Tobe Hooper. This year has been, we lost so many. I know, like I said before about how it's life and all that, and we don't know, can't help it though, but still. And this year we lost a lot of good people, from Bill Paxton to Roger Moore, and then directing recently George R. R. Murrow. Now we lost another great horror director, Tobe Hooper. I like Tobe Hooper. He never got to make that big, all these big. He never went on got to do these big budget horror films like with Wes Craven or George R. R. Murrow. With George R. R. Murrow, he even didn't make that too many though. Well, except for the original trilogy of Night, Day, and Dawn of the Dead. But he had made a big budget like Land of the Dead and such. But not like the ones like all the big the films like Wes Craven have though. But Tobe Hooper, passed away earlier at the age of 74. It was yesterday. Was my this is on the August 26th. So yeah, passed away yesterday. So it sucks, of course. Now, like I said, if anybody who knows the name of Tobe Hooper, automatically they think of this. Of course, this is his most famous film, and always will be. And without him, I got the most classic, one of the best horror films, one of the best classic slasher films, or let alone one of the most scariest films ever made. It is still considered one of the scariest films ever made. I know that because I saw it, when I was young, and I know it terrified me. And there's only very few films that scared me, and this was one of them. And it scared me just the way because I know what great job Tobe Hooper did. And then he go on to direct the sequel, which is a great sequel, let alone an underrated sequel, which a lot of people don't like, but I like the film. I like that he made a black comedy instead because he couldn't make it scarier than the first one, so he made a black comedy instead, which I like that. Especially when he starred one of my favorite actors, Dennis Hopper, may rest in peace as well. Even though Marilyn Burns and even also Gunnar Hansen's now passed away, and the guy who played, what was the guy's name? The cook. The cook played by what was the guy's name? I forget the guy's name who plays Jim Sedow. That's the guy's name who plays the cook. So, and then other films. Now, some of those other films I haven't seen in a long time, but The Funhouse from 1981. I enjoy that film. I don't have the DVD anymore. It was an old one. I wanted there was a collector's edition of Funhouse. I want to get that though, but I had a DVD before, but I got rid of it. But I want to get the because I saw they had a collector's edition. And I want to get that. But I remember enjoying Funhouse. Even my dad, he when he saw it back in the day, in the year 1981, he had fun with the film as well. And my dad, he's not really big on those slasher horror films, you know, but he liked Funhouse. So I like that one. I have to get the special edition of that film. Um, Eaten Alive. I haven't seen that film in a long time. I want to get. I don't have the DVD of it though. I saw it once a long time ago on TV. So I have to get the DVD and give up my full review on it because I saw it a long time ago. I think I remember not minding the film, but I had to get the DVD to get a proper review to me that I really liked the film. So if I really did like the film fully. But Eaten Alive, I'll have to get another watch. I think that also starred Marilyn Burns, and I know it stars an earlier Robert Englund in there as well. Then again, another one. This one, another one I really do enjoy from Tobe Hooper. A great sci-fi film, Life Force. And among one of the other people in the cast members, you have Patrick Stewart in this film. I enjoy Life Force. It's a really fun sci-fi film. I will say this is a film that also doesn't get talked much about today, especially when you talk about with Tobe Hooper, you know. I think the film flopped when it came out, sadly though, but I enjoy Life Force. There's also a collector's edition of this film, but I also want to get that collector's edition as well. Then another one, if you talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, supposedly another one that he was famous for is directing Poltergeist. Well, there's been this thing where who directed what? There was either Tobe Hooper or was it Steven Spielberg. A lot of people say it was mostly Steven Spielberg who directed the film, or Tobe Hooper. So, but he's been credited. He's been credited as directing Poltergeist, not Steven Spielberg. So we'll say that's Tobe Hooper though. But otherwise, or on Spielberg's films that he directed, if he directed that film, then that film would have been on the films that he directed, not Tobe Hooper. But to have it on here, have it on the films that he made. Tobe Hooper says that he had directed it. So I don't know what the whole case with that film, who directed what. So if we're on the films that who made if the film's not in Steven Spielberg's list of films that he directed, then it's in Tobe Hooper's then. But regardless about that, I like Poltergeist. Still, regardless of whatever the situation is, I like Poltergeist. The sequel I'll get to. One day I'll talk about the trilogy though. But I think I'm gonna mind the sequel, and I didn't care for the third one though. But the first one is a classic as well. Then I talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Invaders from Mars. If anyone's familiar with that film, that's another film that I have not seen in forever. Because, like I said, all these other lesser known names that I'm sure some people are familiar with, though, is just why Tobe Hooper hasn't get that star made big budget or horror films stuff though. But Invaders from Mars, I'm familiar with it. I just haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't remember much about it though. Spontaneous Combustion, there was one that starred Brad Dourif. I do remember that film. Well, definitely, it had some good practical effects as well, and I like Brad Dourif, so. But I don't have the DVD of it though. I have to get it on DVD sometimes because I like Brad Dourif, and I remember it had some good explosions, fire effects, and all that stuff. He directed one of the segments in Body Bags. They directed The Mangler. The Mangler that starred Robert Englund, and also, yeah, Ted Levine. Ted Levine, who played Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, he's in this. But Robert Englund, that was based on a short story by Stephen King. I really enjoy The Mangler. A lot of people don't like that movie, which I don't get though. It performed poorly at the box office. And the film was not liked by critics either. I don't understand it. It's just that I don't know what's so bad about The Mangler. I like The Mangler. I like Robert Englund. I like Ted Levine. So the Mangler is just, I don't get what's the hate about that film. I don't. So that's another one I really do enjoy from Tobe Hooper. Then he directed a film called The Apartment Complex, which I have not seen. In 2000, Crocodile. Now that one I do remember. I have a DVD of it, but I don't have it in here. I have it like just on just a disc by itself. I have it in a DVD storage case somewhere. I have to find it. I have that DVD though. I just remember it being very bad. I mean, and like Tobe Hooper, he's not perfect though. He's directed some hit and misses, of course. Crocodile is definitely a miss for him. I mean, there was a mixture of practical stuff of the crocodile, but the CG was poor of the crocodile. I mean, see wide shots of the crocodile is very poor, but up close practical stuff I can tolerate though. But it wasn't not much for kills. I mean, some of the people that get swallowed. You can see someone. I remember one of the girls, you know, in the crocodile's mouth being chomped, then also being swallowed into the crocodile. I do remember that. But the CG was very poor and nothing memorable about Crocodile. I mean, him directing a creature feature killer crocodile film, but evidently it falls flat on its face. Basically, I did not like Crocodile. I'll have to find that disc. Maybe I can review that sometime. But I'll have to find the case, the DVD storage case, and where all the other ones, the extras I have. So yeah. Then he directed The Toolbox Murders, which I long ago when Blockbuster was still around, I rented that film, and I gave it a look, and I actually kind of like Toolbox Murders. I think it's a remake of an original film. I think it was from the 70s or early 80s. I think it was from the 70s. So when I had time, I didn't know it was a remake, but I actually kind of like The Toolbox Murders. So I remember long ago when there was a Blockbuster around here, I rented that film. I definitely remember renting that film from Blockbuster. So actually, and I remember liking the film. I don't love the film, but I think it's a decent remake. And then after that, in 2006, he directed films called Mortuary, and then the last film he did in 2013 was called Gin. I have not seen both those films, so. But yeah. Then he directed, as for television, he directed the miniseries of Stephen King's Salem's Lot. My mother is a fan of that. I could never get into Salem's Lot. It wasn't a miniseries I didn't care for. Then he directed an episode of Freddy's Nightmares and Tales from the Crypt. But all of the films that he's directed, he didn't direct many big budget, like the films like Wes Craven did, like with his Scream films, or The People Under the Stairs, or other ones though. But Tobe Hooper, he's not. I would still say he's a better director than some certain ones I don't care for. But regardless of that, though, he was a good director. I've heard on the commentaries of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film and interviews. Seems like a really nice guy. Definitely like with George A. Romero. All the good guys always die, but it sucks. So yeah, I don't know what more I can say. It's just I'm glad that he left something like his most famous film. Well, his famous film, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, will always live on in his memory, and our memories, and his memory as well. But for his most other ones that a lot of people don't know about, Funhouse, check it. I'll have to get the collector's edition, but I'll have to review that film. Funhouse is a fun one. Even my dad thinks it was a good horror film. Life Force is an underrated sci-fi film. I enjoy that film, especially Poltergeist. That's a classic as well. Invaders from Mars, I'll have to give another look. Same with Eaten Alive. Crocodile, I'll have to do. I'll have to look at it again. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I enjoy as a sequel. I think it's an underrated horror sequel. Toolbox Murders, I overall like. The Mangler, I really do enjoy. spontaneous combustion. So yeah, he didn't go on to make too many big films, though. Sadly, though, but his name is memorable. If everyone knows associated with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So yeah, it just sucks. So Tobe Hooper, another good director, now passed on. Now he's with George A. Romero, with Wes Craven. As I was saying, Tobe Hooper, may he rest in peace. But some of the films I have to get on DVD and rewatch them again. But these films always live on, at least to me, especially his most famous one. For anybody would say. Thanks for giving us one of the most scariest films ever made. One of the most classic horror films ever made as well. So at that, thank you for giving us this. But yeah, so once again, rest in peace, Tobe Hooper, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and I was gonna upload. I had a movie review uploaded. We'll record though, but since this happened, I'm just gonna upload this right after this. So, but I'll have to get that though. But thanks for watching, and once again, rest in peace, Tobe Hooper. Later.